And welcome into the Longstreth post-game show. I'm your host, Leah Secondo. The U.S. winning their very first match here at the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris on the final day of pool play for all the teams, 1-0 over South Africa. Very special show for you today as we have four special guests. We are also on two different platforms on Facebook Live as well as on YouTube. So glad you're joining us on both platforms as we continue to grow the game. Our very first guest, the former standout at the University of Maryland and founder of PA United Field Hockey Club, Bree Price. Bree, thanks so much for joining us this morning, so early on in the morning.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Our second guest, the head coach at Duke University, a Hall of Famer and a 96 Olympian, Pam Buston. Pam, always great to see you.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks, Leah.
Our third guest from Millersville, where they took home a national championship in D2 in 2014 and a three-time PSAC PSAC Coach of the Year in Shelly Barron. Shelly, thanks so much for joining us, especially on your vacation.
Happy to be here. Thanks, Leah.
Absolutely. And our final person joining us on the show today, 11th season at William and Mary and a four-time CAA Coach of the Year in Tess Ellis. Tess, thank you as well for being up with us so early this morning.
Absolute pleasure.
Ladies, we come home with the dub, and it's something to build on, certainly, as we look ahead now to LA, which won't come quick enough, right? Pam, I wanted to start with you first. You were a former defender with the U.S. squad. We saw some better play out of the back today. We saw the defense and Meredith's shoulder, kind of that midfield action, that two-way player helping out with a goal today. What did you see? Did we do a better job forcing South Africa into some sort of difficult situations on the field to get those turnovers?
Yeah, I mean, I think we started off the tournament, I thought, with some great defensive structure and some great defensive numbers. Kind of got a little disconnected towards the middle, and I think they did bring it back, especially in the second half today. A little bit more confidence and stepping up and kind of bringing numbers over to the side of the ball, meaning like weak side. I also feel we put some pressure on South Africa so they could make some mistakes, balls going over the end line or disconnections on their part on the attacking side. And that says a lot for the defense and the energy that we're bringing out.
Anyone else want to elaborate on Pam's opening thought there?
I think with a tournament like this, we were talking about it earlier, every team's getting better with every game. And it comes down to sometimes just teams who make less mistakes. And today, I think the US did such a better job of not turning the ball over as much. So I think that was a huge part of hopefully their game plan today was the team that made less mistakes was probably going to capitalize.
An emotional shot in the arm, really, right? Nice to get the points, and look to better ourselves as we go into the next.
You spent a lot of time around the national team and your playing days as well, and you've helped develop a number of players, including that jersey right behind you there in Maddie Zimmer. Where do you feel as though the U.S. squad needs to go from here? And some of the better points that they took out, their organization seemed a little bit better today, but we have those ebbs and flows, right, as the U.S. team progresses along and gets some experience.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from this tournament is just our developing. We're young. We're a very young team. We're the youngest team in the Olympics right now. Right. So I think going forward into London, just the growth that we're going to have age-wise is going to be huge for us. A lot of these players will be out of college at that point, so they can be together full-time, together as a unit, and I think that's going to help them grow a ton in the future.
The U.S. squad in this game, 1 for 4 on corners today. We saw a second time during this Olympics games where they have scored on corners for the tournament over 28 corners on the game. But I think it was Tess maybe they had said during the game, if we go 1 for 4 on our corners, we're gonna do okay. Did you feel that redirect was something that we certainly was a bright spot. We didn't see a lot of straight drags, but some of your thoughts on the corner succession today.
Earning corners is a big part of the modern game. We're looking at some of the teams that will qualify in the top 8. They are averaging 1 in 4, 1 in 5. So if you are pulling a lot of corners, the chances are at least two of your goals are going to be penalty corners. So with the US doing a great job forcing the corners, well done them today, throwing in a couple of variations, and it worked out well for them. So, moving forward in the last crossover games for them, that continues to be part of their game. I mean, it was a beautiful goal.
The gaps in the field, right? You want to have that spacing to be able to move the ball up. We saw some great throws. We saw a couple of times actually today that the U.S. utilized the aerial ball or the throw. How do we close that gap? How do we, it starts from the back, right? Everything materializes from the back and works to the front. Just some of your nuances that you picked up, Shelley, in that ball movement and that flow, and not being so tight maybe when things start to go different with the defense and the pressure that they're applying.
Yeah, well, I think again, we talked about this earlier. We expect a lot, right? We expect a lot of our teams. We want medals. We want them we expect them to go out and do what they do. And you don't know what you don't know till you know it. And I think as the tournament has progressed, they've gotten better. But I think, and Pam, you said this, just don't revert back to being individuals, making the ball and the spacing. They have to make the ball do the work, and, simple things, but experience matters. So as we move forward, what can they take, learn, and grow? And they will. They have experience now. Like Bree said, there was nobody in this game that has been in the Olympics before. So amazing that these ladies have this experience. But I think they're going to sit back and look at some things and, move forward from this. But I think each opponent is so different. A tournament is a long time. An Olympic tournament it's a lifetime. You're playing in a long tournament. So different than the college game. And I think that's what people don't get. The international game, the college game are vastly different.
For your Pam or Tess, follow up?
Yeah, I think, you do revert when you're under pressure, when you're fatigued, when you're frustrated, when you want it so bad. We talked about the energy. The Olympics brings a whole different energy before they even leave the States, having these celebrations, and which is deserved and absolutely something we should be doing. But for a team that hasn't experienced it before, it can be exhausting, and then it plays itself out as the games go on. It's a lot of emotional energy, and I'm so grateful that we've had this opportunity as a country to play in Paris and get that experience. And hopefully a majority and a good, strong handful of these women are going to go on and play in LA. And that's where we're going to build our strength from, is that experience, learning from this. I feel like as the season, as the tournament went on, we did start, trying to force the play. And we lost a little bit of our connection and going around the right side, coming around the baseline, the things that we were doing in the first couple matches that I thought were really impressive. And that is just experience and maturity at that stage or on that stage. And it's a learned thing. And I'm so grateful again that US is there and they attacked it and they prepared well for it. The energy, I thought, as a team continued to grow closer, found ways to make things happen. And I'm just really excited for the next 4 years for this group, and the ones that they've inspired by being in Paris, the young kids who they've inspired on the college teams that are looking forward to coming out and having a shot at playing in LA.
I think, as Pam just said, that's the big thing, that, you've got a group of players that are about to graduate out of their universities, that they are inspired to, go down to Charlotte, try out for the residency program and keep pushing these young ladies to where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Bree, you had mentioned the residency program when we were watching the broadcast. It's not an easy trek for these women. It's a whole different type of commitment. I know that, Pam, you too can speak personally about this, but there's a lot that goes into it. It's not like just a happy time in San Diego or Norfolk for a year, or Charlotte.
Yeah, it's a big commitment. When I was on the team, I moved out to San Diego for a year. So I moved away from my family. I left right after college. You're training 8 hours a day. That includes, your practice, your breakfast, your lunch, your strength, conditioning, mental aspect of the game. It's just a huge commitment away from, you have your teammates, which are your friends, but your friends, your family, you're kind of separated from I'll say the regular world. Can't get a job, that is your job. So your finances are kind of put on hold for a while. And it's a big commitment for these athletes that I don't think people realize what they have to give up, financially, emotionally, personally, all those things. So, living through that and knowing what they go through, it's just a huge commitment for them.
Mm-hmm. Cam, you're shaking your head. I know.
Well, I mean, I've done it both as an athlete and then also as an assistant coach,
Right.
Before '08, and huge strides, in those years between 96 and '08. But even now, I think there's more resources to help support the women to get through that. So I think, as a community, we can continue to build. Charlotte's done a great job in trying to help the women who are coming out there to sustain a way of life. And I think the more we have college students involved in it, that's going to be something that we have to address and try to help out, as they balance both finishing up their school and contributing to the residency program or coming in for different training camps. But it is hard. It's supposed to be hard, right? I mean,
Right.
it's what makes it special. And the strong commitment that comes from each person, trickles to the next. And then you have that's part of your culture, part of what makes you able to go fight overseas and win some tough games, is that you do it together.
Yeah, it was an
It's
amazing experience. It's I would recommend it to anyone who has the opportunity to do it. Life-changing. I mean, I have lifelong friends from that year, so
Yeah.
It is amazing. It's a big commitment.
Right. Well, you can still play because you can't get those legs and eyes back again as time progresses, right? For sure.
Yeah.
You know what was amazing to me before we head into a break here? We know we have such great talent in the United States. I think certainly the last few years with television exposure being back on a true TV platform has helped to get the word out about our game. It's nice to go out to a restaurant or wherever and see the game, on the TV in a restaurant or a bar, right? But you're watching the game and you're watching it at this level, and the margin of error is just like if you're not marking on the right side, that player that you're marking knows how to expose you. And I think, from a youngster watching the Olympics, even going back and watching the replays, you can get so much out of it from your guys' coaching perspective. What is something or a few things that a young student athlete who has aspirations, maybe not even to be at the Olympic level, but to make the next steps? What are they looking for when they're watching these matches in replay?
I think the biggest thing, and we probably say this to every kid that comes to a camp, and we probably remind our players every day. I always say to my girls, watch the game, study the game, just like you would if a CAP test was coming up. But, we see all these tricky things on YouTube and the kids want to practice all this tricky stuff. But at the end of the day, when you're watching these games, it comes down to just very strong, quick, basic skills. Mm-hmm. We need to be better teachers at, hitting a ball, not just reverse stick, but the basic skill of going back and hitting a hard, flat ball. Just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Have good, strong, basic skills, because at the end of the day, you can have all the fancy trick work, but if you can't pass to your teammate, then it won't work. It won't work.
I would like to see what they do when they don't have the ball. I think kids are focused so much on when they have the ball, and that should be minimal. It's the work rate, it's the movement, it's the hard work that goes unnoticed, unrecognized. Maybe you never get the ball, but that hard work off the ball. I think they watch their position, right, or watch for the position they want to be. But I also will say, and I think we notice this all the time as coaches, like it's the body language too. Like you could definitely see at times some frustration against Great Britain in that game, and you knew like they were given what they could, but that disappointment, and you feel for them. I felt for them. I mean, personally, I think we owe these ladies a great thank you for qualifying. Thank you for now we can look ahead to LA and you have that experience. But watching the games, I think there's immeasurable things that we can learn from other countries as well. We don't have to play or do what Argentina does or the Netherlands or China, Australia, but boy, we can learn a lot by watching and then, applying that. But for me personally, Tessie, and Pam, Bree, I think off the ball, what are we doing off the ball? Because I don't think kids value that as much.
100%.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The
All right. Well, go ahead, Bree.
No, I was just saying the fundamentals, like you can't have unforced errors because you will be taken advantage of that. And I think watching what the teams do when they don't have the ball as a unit, and then what they do when they do have the ball as a unit, it's not, when you're just 5 yards away from the play.
Yep.
And also getting kids to see how to receive a ball and ball placement, how important that is. Because when we receive it from the backfield, we have immediate pressure on us at all times. And I think that sometimes kids, and they just don't realize how important it is when you receive a ball, that ball positioning puts you in the right direction to make the next pass.
Mm-hmm. The U.S. with a 1-0 victory over South Africa in their final play of these 2024 Olympic Games. We are going to take a quick timeout, pay some bills, and we will be back on the flip side after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Longstreth post-game show. I'm your host, Leah Secondo, and as we move on here with our show, the United States closing out the Olympic Games with a 1-0 victory over South Africa. Ladies, takeaways from this game today, if you had to give a player of the game or two, both let's give kudos both on both ends of the field, offensive side and defensive side. Who would you give those to today?
I'd go with the corner unit.
Yeah.
The drag, the trap was right on. It was spot on, which obviously required a few people to get it right all at the same time. So my shout out is to the corner unit for getting it right.
Yeah, I was going to say Meredith. I was hoping for a redirection, as you all know, and it came and it paid off. So it was really exciting to see that executed. And then I just have to go. I just have to give the shout out to Kelsey Bing, just across the board, just the consistency under a lot of pressure, and just gave us opportunities throughout the entire tournament, and that means a lot coming from the anchor in the back.
Yeah, I agree, Pam. Every minute, right? She had to be on, and I think she's been spot on and really helped us out and kept us there. Even when things didn't go, she stayed in it. And
yep.
I think a lot of credit goes to her, and agree, Tess. That was a great goal today. She flat out laid out.
Mm-hmm.
Pam, you have the great honor of having two players represented. Obviously, Jill, we hope that she's doing solid on her recovery right now, and a disappointment, but what a young lady, both off and on the field, and representation of Duke, and of course Leah Krause, who spent some time with you as well. If you could, kudos to them, kudos to you. It's not an easy road. Just some thoughts on those two players and their backgrounds.
Oh yeah, I think from the beginning, I remember, just throughout the recruiting process, this was something that they dreamed of. Each of them wanted to at some point represent the United States, not only on the national team, but hopefully on the Olympic stage. And as they came through, both of them were so fortunate that U.S. had those, 3 Olympics in a row that we were competing in, which is really exciting. The 8, the 12, the 16, that was really important. and again, inspiring young women to want to get there. So I'm so proud of them that was something that was in them from the beginning, and they were able to see it through. Yes, horrible situation for Jill. It's just part of it, unfortunately. Just the timing of it is terrible. And I'll be seeing her this weekend. She's coming back to Durham to hang out with us a little bit. So I really look forward to that. And for Leah, I give her a lot of credit. Moving into the backfield position is not an easy task. In fact, it just requires different skill sets that I'm proud for her to find, that she has found them and sharpened them up. And I think she's done a great job in helping the U.S. Defend, but also attack out of the backfield. I mean, that's where her true strength is, in her ball skills and ball movement and her ability to run. So I'm really, really proud of her for making that change at this time, and really contributing to the U.S.'s success in qualifying for Paris.
Bree, you've had an opportunity to coach a number of these players, including Maddie Zimmer, who helped you at Hershey bring home a state title. How about Maddie's development from high school days to where she is now?
So I think her biggest development is just her confidence. I'll never forget her coming in as a freshman at Hershey, and we had a big senior class that year, and she was just quiet, timid, just kind of went with the flow. And then to see her develop through her senior year, even when she tore her ACL, and just kind of watching her rehab and working with her through that, and her emotional development through that, it's just was fantastic to see. And I truly think that, helped her grow into the player she's become today. And she's a standout on our team. The way she carries on that right side with her speed and her elimination skill, and the way she can draw fouls and cards. I don't know how many cards she drew for our team to have, player up situations. She's just a very smart tactical player that works well with her speed and her skills. We're very, very, very honored to coach her for all those years.
You're in the hotbed, right, of hockey there in PA. You've had an opportunity to have an awesome force of assistant coaches who have then, gone on to bigger and better things. That's all part of it when you get on the coaching side. But how have those assistants who have come through, they're so talented, maybe bring your players to another level, or get that piece out of them that maybe would have never come out personally?
Oh, it's invaluable. I think just the quality of the people that I've had, then you have like what they know hockey wise and what they're giving to our players. As a Division II school, we have some pretty good players. We just play on a different surface, right? And a competitive league that we're in the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. But, each of them, Marvin Bam, having played for his country, South Africa, I think when you add the guys in the element of field hockey, it really does help the women. Here in the States, we're pretty physical oriented, right? And I think there's the other nuances of the game that, Allie McAvoy has helped with, that Katie O'Donnell Bam has helped with, that now Taylor West McCormick, is just helping our players with just, it's the tidying up of things. It's sharpening your skill set. It's love your basics. We can't say it enough, and we've all said it here, but each of them has left a lot of themselves with us. And I'm really lucky that they're just great people who are great friends, and who've helped our program, and helped me. I learned from them as much as, they've helped our kids. So yeah, it's just been invaluable. And we're very lucky with the location we're in, of course, and in Millersville. So, hopefully we keep getting better.
Awesome. We have to pay a few more bills here on the show, Longstreth Postgame Show. And when we come back, we'll take a look at the final 8. There's 7 of 8 right now that we'll discuss after these messages. Stay with welcome back to the Longstreth post-game show. I'm your host, Leah Secondo. This is the final day of pool play. That's a mouthful. And starting, let's see, on Monday Sunday we'll have the quarterfinals. Let's take a look at things right now. So keep in mind here as we take a look at this that Australia, Argentina, Spain, and Great Britain have moved on. And then the Netherlands, Germany, and Belgium, there's, could be 2-3, either one of those teams. And then Japan has finished the day. We're still waiting on China's final result. But some of your thoughts now as we start to do that crossover on pool play.
Well, I think, the tournament is just going to be exciting. Whatever games you watch, they're going to be at the highest level. Holland, Great Britain, they know each other. They've played each other a lot in the Pro League. Holland are deadly. They are deadly on their attacking corners and the speed and numbers that they use to go in their attack. So, I'm probably going Holland on the first game. Mm-hmm. Who wants to take the next one?
Yeah. I think you took the easy one, Tess.
I did take the easy one because the other one just tears my heart apart. So, yeah.
Well, I think you guys have said it, right? It's going to come down to execution and who makes the least amount of mistakes. Yeah. Everything matters. Pam, you've said this a number of times, like every touch on the ball matters, every pressure matters, every unforced error that doesn't go your way. So, I think the Netherlands are going to be tough to beat.
Oh yeah. I think they're head and shoulders above. You have a good game. I thought the Germany-Holland game was fantastic and exciting, and they're vulnerable. They have moments like everybody else, but when they choose to correct it, it's pretty powerful, and they did that in that second half. So, I think Holland is the team to beat. I'm really excited for the Australian game. I think Australia's playing really well. I've enjoyed watching them play. I think they're firing on all cylinders together, and I think their experience in these moments will supersede China and take it from there. But it's going to be exciting. The crossovers are always exciting.
Pass, you might have a little bit of allegiance for the Hockey Roos.
It's hard. Now, we talked about this. You've got two former teammates with Trini Powell and Alison Ennan playing with each other at Olympics and now coaching against each other at Olympics. So two women with two extremely good teams. I played with Trini and I've played with Alison, and I've known Alison since she was 14 years of age. She played with our club. So always green and gold, obviously, always green and gold.
Right.
But, my heart probably leans a little bit towards Alison and China, but Australia are playing very well.
Well, the women's semifinal will be on Wednesday. The bronze medal match will be Friday at 8 a.m. That's the 9th. The gold medal match will follow a little bit later on in the afternoon on Friday at 2 p.m. Those are Eastern Standard Times. Make sure you check with NBCOlympics.com to find out which platform you can watch those games at. Ladies, real quick, as we wrap this one up, thank you so much for your time. I know that these final weeks as we head towards what will be a very short preseason and get into season are extremely valuable for you all. So thank you. Really, we really appreciate it.
Thank you for doing it.
Thank you.
Well
Absolutely. Now, make sure you subscribe on YouTube.com for the Longstreth post-game show so you can keep up to date on all the things that we're doing for Longstreth and for this great sport of field hockey. And of course, we want to shout out and give everyone a big thank you over the last week, especially the folks at Longstreth, as we continue to try to grow our game. And stay tuned. We have some exciting things coming up ahead for you this fall. That wraps up the Longstreth post-game show. We appreciate everyone and their time, and we will see you on the flip side come this fall. Take care and make it a great day.